Okay, I'm going to call this one gas because right now we're um this is what I found funny. Right now we're running out of gas and we don't have enough gas for everybody on the planet. But right now they say they're overproducing gas. They're producing too much gas, too much oil and too much gas. And at this stage where we're producing too much oil and too much gas, they just mean that for the rich people. They don't mean for the whole world. The whole world still needs gas and oil. You know what I mean? The whole world still needs cars and gas and oil, and they say we're producing too much right now. So this one's about materials. Our problem with materials, and even an electric car is going to run out of copper. You know what I mean? Like basically, to globalize the world, we need more materials, and this is a big concern for us. This is a really big concern for us, and we have things like sustainability and um, recycling and and all these efforts to navigate our materials problem. But there's hope for the materials world. There's hope for the materials world because out there is a whole bunch of empty planets and enough materials for everyone. So you get some speed of light going, and you can start mining Mars and Jupiter. You get one scientific speed of light, or really fast propulsion from a laser beam or something, from electricity, from an electrical particleized or something, right? Particleized, electricalized, magnetized, shoot out there really fast. You can actually mine these planets and solve your materials problem. The other place to find materials is in dimensions. If you rip open a hole in the universe and make that hole big enough that you can walk through it or send a robot through it, you're going to find dimensions with materials again. So you're going to have a whole new planet, a whole another Earth full of new materials in this new dimension. And it's true. Ours are probably empty. Ours probably aren't inhabited. You might even find different civilization. That's the other thing. If you rip open dimensions, you might find a civilization, and better than space travel. It's better than space travel because you don't have to travel. It's right here, and you can find a civilization. But it's one scientific step away to ripping open dimensions and solving the materials problem again. So materials is not really a problem for anybody but us. This is sort of our problem because everyone else has space and dimensions and tons of materials, and materials is not really an issue. Where they have like facilities the size of the planet, and they have facilities the size of several suns, because there's that many extra materials out in space and in dimensions and stuff. So it's a solvable problem. It's a problem that's inevitably solved. But right now, it's one that, yeah, it's really bad. Like they say, we're producing too much oil and gas, and they don't produce enough for everyone, and they call that too much. They don't produce enough for all the developing countries, and they call it too much oil and too much gas because of the prices, because of the money. That's the other thing. They're letting money drive things, not letting progress, not letting resources and development and fairness and sharing, and they're letting money drive everything. Like companies can't do speculative or can't do experimental work because it costs some money, because it costs too much money to do research, to do experimental research and come up with something totally drastically different, because you have to make money while you're doing research, right? So there's a huge problem with money driving everything. Money should not be driving like anything. Money should be on top of everything, not driving anything. But this is where you produce for everybody, where everybody's got the standard quality of life, and money is greater than the standard quality of life. Yeah, exactly. It's just on top of everything. It's not driving anything. But the materials problem is a problem that will be solved, and hopefully we solve it our generation, and we solve it soon, and then we get this world globalized. Because like an international government is something that you have to do for a reward from these dimensions, from this dimensional space boss. You have to do things like have a world government and stuff like that. Like you get rewards for these sorts of things, for these sorts of progresses and stuff like that. And most of them are social. Most of them are social progresses. We're not going to be trouble with each other, and we're not going to be trouble with anybody else. And maybe now we'll introduce you to a new society now that you're not going to be trouble with anybody, right? They don't want to introduce fights and stuff necessarily either, especially if it's them that has to step in and help and do it. If they have to step in and pretend your technology works, they have to act like some sort of physics police and get your technology to work when it doesn't. And they have to help you. They don't want to have fights, right? And all these societal rewards, like I said, they're like all social and stuff. And it's what you go for. It's what you go for. It's what should drive you instead of money. This is what should drive you instead of money. Societal rewards is world government, globalization, peace, happiness, all these society, community, culture. Culture is a big thing. That one of the bosses thinks that's one of the things we mainly do here is culture, our society. And culturing ourselves and society is one of the biggest things that we can do here as a person just wasting time. Yeah, as a person just wasting time. But like I said, the materials problem is going to get solved, and you can solve it like I said. You get a burst of propulsion from electricity. You rip open dimension big enough to walk through it, and you solve the materials problem. And the whole world can have materials now.